after struggling with anxiety for 3 to 4 years, I figured out a way to recover naturally, and that's what I'm going to share with you in this video. This exact method has not only worked for myself, but also with clients that I've worked with, such as Murray, who had intense anxiety after a debilitating breakup. And after working together shortly thereafter, we were able to help him fix his anxiety. So this video is going to explain to you how you can do the same. The exact framework, strategy, and principles I used to recover from anxiety naturally without medication, even though I was told by the doctor that I would have it for the rest of my life. So let's dive right in. Point number one is acceptance. You see, most people with anxiety, they're doing the opposite of acceptance. They're fighting the anxiety, they're Googling the anxiety, they're researching the anxiety, obsessing about it, constantly wondering, like, why is it here? Where did it come from? Why is it not getting any better? You know, they're constantly Googling symptoms, obsessing about it. And you know, the famous psychologist Carl Jung said, what you resist persists and may even grow in size. So most people, they're resisting the anxiety and they're wondering why it's not getting better, and they're wondering why it's not, improving, and that's because they're fighting it. Newton's third law, for every force there's an equal and opposite reaction. So if you fight something, it fights back, So with anxiety, I eventually got to the point of realizing I have to stop fighting this anxiety. I've tried fighting it so far for however long. It's been like 7-8 years now since I recovered. I had it for 3 to 4 years, and in the beginning time, I was just fighting, obsessing like every other anxiety sufferer. I was in the forums, I was constantly Googling symptoms, I was freaking myself out. I had this symptom, that symptom, frequent urination, panic attacks, heart palpitations, blurry vision. Went to the eye doctor, went to multiple doctors, and the eye doctor said, oh, you have top 5% eyesight, it's all good. I was like, no, you don't understand. I must be going blind, there's something wrong with my vision. I'm going crazy, I'm going insane. I went to a psychologist and he said, oh, you might be getting schizophrenia. That freaked me out even more, So I was like, okay, I have to fix this for myself, because the solution out there is just to take meds, maybe do some therapy, talk therapy, which doesn't seem to work that well for people, So I was like, okay, if other people are not going to help me, I have to help myself. Self-help, help yourself, So that's what I did. I discovered acceptance. I stopped the fight. I stopped obsessing about anxiety. And let me explain to you a bit more about why acceptance is key and how it actually heals your anxiety. Okay, so basically, emotion is energy in motion. So the anxiety symptoms you are facing are as a result, effectively, of an emotion, the emotion of anxiety, in an exacerbated way. The anxiety disorder, it has become almost like a continual storm of anxiety, and now you find yourself in a situation where you have all these symptoms that are caused by anxiety. The effect is the anxiety symptom, this debilitating anxiety, and the cause is the emotion of anxiety that has become exacerbated in your system, and now you have all these crazy symptoms. So what you want to do is you want to address the cause by understanding that's just anxiety. That's often an affirmation I repeated to myself in the midst of debilitating anxiety, debilitating symptoms. I was like, you know what, it's okay, it's just anxiety. I tried to mentally remind myself, it's just anxiety. It doesn't define me, it's just an emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. Feeling is healing. When you feel it, you are healing it. You're allowing it to be there. You're creating space. You're doing the opposite of fighting it, you're accepting it. And as a result, the emotion that is being blocked in your system can motion out, leave your body, and be freed up like energy, Energy cannot be destroyed, it can just be transferred and transmuted in its state, So basically you can allow it to pass through your body, and then it gets transmuted, it leaves your body, it goes somewhere else. Doesn't matter, it's no longer in your system, it heals itself. That's healing, emotional healing in essence. Boiled down, it's so simple. The truth is always simple. If someone comes to you with something like super complicated, complex, where it's like super difficult to understand, that's not the truth. The truth is always really, really simple. Now, I'm saying this is simple, doesn't necessarily mean it's easy to implement when you're feeling that anxiety, because it almost takes you over. It's like you have these anxiety goggles, It's like the world is suddenly a scary place. Leaving your house is a scary thing. I remember just going to the supermarket to buy some bread or something. Was a experience to me, like I was about to go to war or something, like I was gonna die, Which is crazy now I think about it. It's like now, just go to the supermarket, whatever, I don't care. I don't really give a damn, So I want the same for you, that you don't have this 24/7 anxiety. For me, I had generalized anxiety, panic attacks, OCD. I see these all belonging together, There's this idea of the anxiety umbrella, which says that you want to view anxiety and all your symptoms as just part of anxiety, They're just the anxiety manifesting. And then once you truly have this mental understanding that all these symptoms you're experiencing, now I just want to preface this by saying that pretty much like you need to get checked by your doctor to rule out anything else. And once you've done that, you've done some blood tests and the doctor told you it's nothing else, you can then also like be at ease and know, okay, I got the confirmation that this is nothing else, and now I can just focus on these anxiety recovery principles, these 5 principles. Number 1, acceptance. Number 2, keeping busy. You see, you cannot really have anxiety if you're busy, you know? If you're very busy and you're busy 24/7, constantly occupied with something, keeping your mind busy at all times, then the anxiety will naturally fade into the background, allowing you to get out of the way. See, this ties into the first point, like we're so in our way with anxiety. We're constantly Googling, fighting, obsessing, we're beating the broken leg, which is Paul David, what he would share. You know, constantly obsessing, what I shared earlier, right? So you then also want to keep yourself busy because this allows your body to heal itself naturally in the background. You know, we just have to get out of the way, accept the anxiety when it arises, and keep ourselves busy so that it can heal itself in the background. You do not need to manage your healing. You do not need to fix your anxiety. You need to do the opposite. You need to let go completely and just focus on living life again, keeping yourself busy, whether that be listening to an audiobook when you're at home, whether that be watching a TV program or something, whether that be reading a book. You know, I got big time into reading books because I wanted inspiration. I stopped following like the news and negative information. You really want to be a guardian of your mind and what flows into it, because what flows in flows out. So if you're just consuming negative things all day, and I include, like with negative things, I include TikTok, Instagram, those platforms fry your dopamine receptors, whereby you then find it harder to experience happiness in day-to-day life. I had this with a client. You know, she was feeling depressed, down and unhappy, and she was just scrolling on TikTok all day, on Instagram. That fries your dopamine. It creates so much over sensation, so your brain becomes desensitized to life. So it's hard to experience happiness just walking in nature, because your brain is used to that intense stimulation, you know, so it cannot. Whereas in nature, suddenly it's like an addict, you know, who doesn't have his drugs, and he's like, where's my drugs, where's my drugs? I can't just sit here in nature, you know. So it's about like, it's like a wake-up call anxiety. So wake-up call, waking you up saying, hey, it's time to change. I've been living out of alignment. Something about the way I've been living has been off, and now it's time to change. So view this as an opportunity. Adversity is always an opportunity, a blessing in disguise if you choose to use it as motivational fuel, you know. It can be a great source of strength and empowerment to use darkness to propel yourself forward, you know, into a new life, into a new opportunity. So I want you to start thinking about, what is your ideal life? If anything is possible, what would your ideal life look like? Where would you live? How would you, assuming you have no anxiety, anything is possible, you have millions in your bank account, whatever, like anything is possible, how would you live your life? And once you truly contemplate those questions, I want you to start taking action towards those things. Whether it's being, you know, making a YouTube channel, whether it's getting into skiing, whether it's getting into this or that, whether it's like gardening, you can make any passion work, even financially. Like in any industry, you know, there's like people achieving success. So it's about doing something you enjoy. Following your joy is a way to connect with your deeper calling, you know. So I think this ties into keeping busy. And also the next one, facing fear, is that the more you do the uncomfortable, the more you become comfortable, you know. You almost have to like step into that new version of yourself that is anxiety free, and do the habits and behaviors that the non-anxious version of yourself would do. So when I had anxiety, including social anxiety, I eventually was like in complete isolation by myself. I didn't meet with anyone. I was just like avoiding everything, because everything just triggered anxiety. And I understood, okay, if I keep listening to anxiety, then that will become my reality. I'm almost like agreeing to the anxiety. So what you want to do is like not take counsel from your fears. You want to do the opposite. So if the anxiety says, don't go to the social event, you're like, okay, I'll go to the social event, but you start like small. So like you start to show up. You go there and you allow yourself, like if it's too intense, you allow yourself to leave again, you know. So you could go, okay, just showing up is a win. Small wins just stack like small, tiny incremental wins. You know, if like usually you'd I don't know, let's say you're sitting at home all day, then maybe it's a win. Like, okay, I'm just gonna go for a walk in nature. I'm just gonna say hi to someone. I'm just gonna say how are you to like the cashier at the checkout or something. Like, you stack small wins, progressive desensitization. And then I also want to share with you, so you have number 1, acceptance, number 2, keep him busy, number 3, face some fear. So you have to start slowly but surely living as though you're anxiety free and progressively pushing yourself outside that comfort zone, because no growth happens in the comfort zone. So acceptance, keeping busy, facing fear. And the next principle is personal growth. You see, this kind of ties into what we've somewhat been discussing already, but personal growth to me means anything that falls under like working on yourself. So this could be a morning routine, for example, that let's say you go to work or whatever, before you wake up 2 hours before you go to work, or before your first meeting or something like this, and you do a morning routine where you maybe just sit there, and instead of like checking your phone first thing in the morning, you actually use some more intention. And the way you start your day is the way you end your day. So you actually then sit down, maybe you close your eyes and you meditate. You just focus on your breath going in and out. You're just observing your breathing. And as you observe your breathing, it kind of trains your mind to be more in the present moment, more calm, more relaxed, and maybe an emotion arises. And you just allow the emotion to be there. You allow, wait till it passes. And you refocus on your breath. You could do 5 minutes of meditation or a minute. Just get the ball rolling like micro habits. And then you could visualize. You know, visualization has been used from successful people and athletes and all kinds of people throughout time to achieve their goals, because visualizing something is programming it into your subconscious mind. You see, you could repeat some affirmations like, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm anxiety free, now that I feel at ease in social situations. So basically, for the negative thing you have right now, you create the opposite positive statement. So don't say, I'm so happy that like I don't have anxiety, because then it's like the subconscious mind doesn't understand a no or a don't or something. So then it focuses, I'm so happy that I have anxiety, right? Anxiety free, it has the word free. It's not anxiety, it's anxiety free, freedom from. So yeah, you can even just like Google some affirmations. You could think about creating a vision board, which are things you want to attract in the next 12 months, and have some goals in your life, like 10 goals. What are 10 goals you want to achieve in the next 12 months that can change your life, that you feel really called to do, you know? Like just write down, take out a journal, write down 10 things you want to achieve. And then pick the most important one of those goals and make that your prime focus. And also every morning, like write down each goal again. All 10 goals, write them down every morning, spot as your morning routine. Visualize yourself achieving your goals. Visualize yourself facing your fears. Visualize yourself living the life of your dreams, just at the end of your meditation, for example. And then you will notice a change occurring. Once you implement these anxiety recovery principles, you will start to feel better. If you want me to actually coach you, I offer one-on-one coaching currently. You can schedule a free discovery call somewhere below this video, and it will generate a Zoom meeting for us to have a chat. This is a free introduction session to see if it makes sense to work together, if it's a good fit, to dive deeper if you want some more one-on-one support from someone that's been there and has helped others. And other than that, I also have a guided meditation somewhere below that you can also check out. That if you listen to that every day, it will help you implement these things we've discussed as well, and it will help you in overcoming anxiety. Anyway, I'll also see you in this other video and talk to you later, my friend.